it's your boy Akina again. Today we're going to be restoring the backing of a clear indigo GameCube controller. As you can see right here, I did recently receive this controller in the mail from eBay. It is an original GameCube controller, indigo clear. The clear part is on the back. The reason I got this backing is at a later time I'm going to go ahead and install this backing on the controller we restored in the other video. If you have not seen that video, go ahead and go check it out. Like, follow, subscribe. The thing we're going to need for this project is we're going to need Salon Care Volume Cream 40, level 40. We're going to need Saran Wrap. After we're done coating the backing with the Salon Care, we're going to go ahead and Saran Wrap it and leave it out in the sun for about 3 hours. And if the clearing is not clear enough at the very end, we're going to go ahead and use a wheel gloss to go ahead and coat it so we can get a more transparent look. We are also going to need the 3-prong screwdriver for the screws in the back of an original GameCube controller. You can get a screwdriver set at your local store that should have the bit. Removed, we're going to go ahead and remove the backing of the controller. What you do is pull up slightly. I would not mess with this part for now. You would have a lot of hassle on your hands if all the buttons did fall out. This is the part we want. We're going to go ahead and remove these covers right here. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and take it to the sink to give it a good wash. We'll dry it off, and then we'll go ahead and start with the clearing process with the Salon Care Volume 40. Now that we got the triggers out, we're going to go ahead and give this a good wash. We're going to be using some Dawn soap. I prefer that. Got some Dawn soap Platinum. I also bought at the store a little baby bottle scrubber. It's mainly for this part so I can go ahead and get the nicks and crannies of all the controller. You don't need this. It is helpful though. Now that we got the controller backing all cleaned up, what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and apply the Salon Care 40 to the controller with a toothbrush. You are going to need some gloves for this. It is not absolutely necessary, it is just safe since this is a chemical. After we do that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up in the Saran Wrap. We have to make sure, or you can put it in a Ziploc bag, you just have to make sure it is clear so that the UV rays can go ahead and get to the controller when you leave it out in the sun. Now that we have covered it with Saran Wrap, it's covered with the chemical. We're going to go ahead and find a nice spot for it to get some sunlight outside. We're going to go ahead and flip it once every hour and leave it out here for about 3 hours. Go ahead and come back once it's done. We're going to go ahead and rinse off this controller. You can already see a high difference from the yellowing, but Might look a little bit better after we rinse it off. Make sure to have your gloves. You can see a significant difference in the yellowing. It is now more white. We're going to go ahead and sand down the controller with some 600 grit sandpaper to ready it for the clear gloss. I do this so that my clear gloss sticks better to the controller and I can get any deep scratches out of the controller. We're only going to be using 600 grit just for the plain fact that there's not much deep scratches in the controller, and it does prepare the controller for the clear gloss. And sanded down the controller, got rid of all the smooth parts. We're gonna go ahead and rinse it off, let it dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and start with the clear coat. We are now back. We let the controller finish drying. As you can see, it lost a lot of its transparency, but with the clear coat, that should fix it right up, and it should be tacky enough for the clear coat to not drip anywhere. I am going to go ahead and start with the clear effects. This is totally optional, like I said before. I'm going to go ahead and do it because I do want that sparkle effect in my controller. We're going to go ahead and put the first coat. We're going to wait 15 minutes after it's finished drying, and then go ahead and put our second coat. We are going to go ahead and let it dry for 15 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and start on the second coat. You want to make sure to get further into the insides of the handles. That's a big spot that I miss a lot and that I have to go over again. I'm just letting you know for future reference. We just finished spraying the second coat. As you can see, the transparency has come back all the way. It's actually more clear than it was when we first began. We're going to go ahead and let this coat dry. The paint has finished drying after 15 minutes. I would feel safer if I put this in the oven for about 10 minutes at 170. This will let the vapors that are trapped underneath go ahead and escape so that we have a completely hard spray paint once we do go to the clear coat. Now we're going to go ahead and pop the controller into the oven. We're going to lay it on a piece of foil, fold it in half, so there's not that much heat from the actual metal parts in the oven touching the controller. I have it on 170. I'm going to leave it in there for about 5 minutes, maybe 10, and we'll see where we're at from there. We went ahead and waited 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take the controller out the oven now. As you can see, it did lose some of its transparency. That's from drying rapidly and from the heat. Once we go ahead and put this final clear coat, it should clear right back up, and we should have a totally hardened controller after it rests overnight. we're gonna go ahead and start the spray paint process. I'm gonna go ahead and put a light coat of gloss on the inside so I get total transparency, or at least the most amount of transparency, so we can go and see all the internals of the controller once the spray paint job is done. After that, I'll go ahead and spray the outside. Since nothing's gonna be touching the inside when I flip it over, I thought this would be the best move to do first. We have waited 15 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and put the second coat on the inside. Then we're gonna go and flip it and start on the outside coat. That should be the last process. We'll go ahead and see how it looks from there. We went ahead and flipped over the controller. We're gonna now go ahead and start on the last coat on the outside. It is pretty transparent right now, thanks to the fact that we sprayed the inside. Well, let's go ahead and get started on the last one outside and see where we're at. We went ahead and finished the final coat on top. As you can see, it looks very transparent now. You see right here, that'll look nice when we go and put it on the back. You can see all the internals very clearly. Before, you were only able to kind of see them, but now I feel like you'll be able to see them more with this paint job. We're gonna go ahead and let this dry for about 24 hours, and then we'll go ahead and come back to it. It should be completely hardened by now, thanks to the help with the stove. That is completely an optional step. If you want to go ahead and go with that route, I went ahead and did that just to be safe. The clear coat has finished drying. It did turn out pretty amazing, as you can see right here. It is pretty transparent. I'll go ahead and include a before and after picture so you can see how clear it is compared to how yellow it was at the beginning and how clear it is in transparency. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go remove the back of this controller. Then we're going to go ahead and put the back of this controller on there. Now that we got the controller all taken apart, we're going to go ahead and put this one back together. As you remember, it did have these triggers here. We got to go ahead and put these triggers back. Just remember that the right trigger has the dip in it, and the left trigger doesn't have any dip in it. Triggers back on, as you can see right here. It's a little strenuous, but if you're at this point, now we can go ahead and move on to the next step. We're going to go and combine the controller back with the front face again, and that should be the last step. Got the whole controller back together successfully. This is the outcome. As you can see right here, you can see more of the internals as you were able to before. Got some nice clear coat protection on it. Everything's working perfectly. You can see they are lined up in there thanks to that clear backing. We still have our original Nintendo logo and our original GameCube logo right here. I'm going to go ahead and set it down and activate the flash so you can see the full effect. This is the full effect with the flash on. It has that sparkle effect on it. Like I said in the previous video, this sticker is embedded. The camera does not pay justice to the gloss. As you can see my reflection here, but when it reflects off into the camera, it's kind of mattish. Move to the back. Most of that yellowing effect is gone thanks to this lawn care 40. You're able to see almost all of the internals through the back, and it also has that blur effect like the front. Go ahead, like, follow, and subscribe. What I'm going to go ahead and try to do next is custom buttons made out of epoxy. I'm also going to be seeing if we can install some LEDs into the controller. Thank you for watching. It's your boy Akina, always building.